Uptown, downtown. Wherever you are, keep it locked in to WBOK 1230.
Good afternoon and welcome to The Way Forward. Are you thawed out? I'm Eddie Francis. It is good to hang out with you. Yes, we had actual snow in New Orleans, in Louisiana, actually. And I realized that I owe the WBOK audience an apology. Last week, I very cynically, I say, predicted that the tallest snowman we could get would probably be a foot tall. How wrong could I have possibly been? I did a mea culpa on social media, but man, that was snow. And you know what was interesting about it? What was really interesting about the snow that we had in Louisiana, particularly here in New Orleans, is that it brought out the kid in everybody. Like Halim and I, we walked outside and we had a snowball fight. Didn't last very long. I won, but it didn't last very long. But we had a snowball fight. The dog, oh goodness, did she frolic? She frolicked like nobody's business in the snow. And I mean, you have to keep in mind here. I mean, this dog, she's adopted down here in the southeast Louisiana area. So she's never seen snow before. She went nuts, loved it. But it was really interesting to see, NOPD having snowball fights, EMS having snowball fights. So, yeah, I was dead wrong, man. We had actual snow. Now, here's the thing that I really need to talk to some of y'all about. You do not need to keep the snow on top of your car like it's a souvenir, especially when you drive. It's okay for you to to brush that snow off. And some of y'all are still keeping that snow on top of your car. You're doing everything possible to keep that snow on top of your car. I get it. It was a momentous occasion for a lot of folks, and I'm really interested in whether or not anybody actually took some snow and maybe put it in a jar and put it in the freezer or something like that. That would be cool. I wish I had thought about that. I would have done it. But yeah, so if you still, for whatever reason, have snow on top of your car, please don't drive with the snow on top of your car because there's a very real reason for that. When the snow flies off the car, if somebody is behind you, then it could hit the person behind you, the windshield, and that's not a good deal. So I actually didn't realize I didn't know that there would still be snow on somebody's car, but I actually saw as early as this morning snow still on people's cars. Well, it's ice now, but you can take it off the car. I promise you. Just take a picture. It will last longer. Welcome to the Way Forward, where there are two things that we like to do on this show. We like to understand and we like to act. We want to understand an issue and we want to figure out how to act on it for the good of ourselves and for the good of the people around us. And so today we're going to be getting off to a healthy start in 2025. I have two great guests, friends of mine, Eric and Malika Beal. They have a company called Better Choices, and they do health and wellness coaching. And also they are master nutritionists, and so they have a great personal weight loss success story. And they do some good work with folks as far as walking them through their health journeys. And so we're going to talk to them about the ups and downs of a health journey, setting reasonable health goals for yourself, and what that can look like in your 2025. And most importantly, how you can get off on the right foot so that whatever your health journey is, whether it's losing weight, whether it is getting your blood pressure in order, whether it's getting your blood sugar in order, whatever it is you want to do, um, we're going to talk about how you can get off to a great start and stick with it. as much as possible. Okay. Now, if you missed last week's conversation with Stephanie Marshall of DePaul Community Health Centers about the social determinants of health, go to Facebook or YouTube, use the hashtag the way forward WBOK, and you can check out that conversation. It was an excellent conversation that we had with Stephanie about what the social determinants of health are. What are things that you can do to be in control? Now, this is not a health show. This is a show about many issues that affect us on a daily basis. We started the show talking about the economy. We talked about politics, public policy. We've also talked about charitable giving. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a great conversation with Kiki Baker Barnes about the art of thinking big. And the reason I tapped Kiki is she is someone who I have seen. She has come up with a big idea and she has made it happen. And it's been the stuff where people would ask, well, how did you even make this happen? Who would you convince? So check out that show from a couple of weeks ago. That would be the January 11th show. And last week's show most definitely with Stephanie Marshall about the social determinants of health. And so tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in. Tune in right now. Don't wait. Okay. You got to do it now. You can tune in locally in New Orleans, WBOK 1230 AM. You can stream live with us, WBOK1230.com. You can use the Play Ode app to stream live. You can also hang out with us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And again, use the hashtag #TheWayForward, WBOK. Now, you can hang out with me on my platforms as well. You can hang out with me on Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, Eddie Francis 06, Eddie Francis on Facebook. And I have joined the Fan Base Party. And so you can join me on Fanbase. I'm actually Augustus 06 on Fanbase. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, that's my handle on Fanbase, Augustus 06. I might have to open a whole new account to get my name changed. But because I do want it to be Eddie Francis 06. And you can search me Eddie Francis on Fanbase. Now, if you don't know anything about Fanbase, and I'm just going to do this really, really quick thing, Fanbase is actually a pretty interesting platform. It was rolled out by Isaac Hayes III, as in the son of Isaac Hayes. Shaft. You know, Shaft. He's a bad mother, shut your mouth. So that's who rolled this out. And so it is a Black-owned social media platform. And so I'm happy to be on Fanbase, but you can catch me wherever you want to catch me. Again, it could be Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram as well. So I always like to start out the show talking about what's good, what's happening, the good things happening in the community. So let's talk about what's good. The first 3 stories are from the Good News Network. And the Good News Network reports that one of the most consistently improving schools in the United Kingdom is a school called Cumberland Community School. The percentage of students who achieve the GPA of 3.0 and above in their English and math exams is also well above the national average. So why does this matter? What's the big deal? It's the UK. Doesn't have anything to do with us. Well, check this out. Here's the secret. How were they able to do this? In 2023, teachers were able to convince the students at Cumberland to give up TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram for 2 months. Of the 300 students in the school, 160, yes, you're hearing that right, over 50% agreed to delete those 3 platforms while also agreeing to hand in their mobile phones while in school. Last year, 120 students took part, and the school is planning to replicate the initiative in 2025. The social media ban was a game changer with the students becoming 100% focused on preparing for their exams, according to Cumberland's principal, Ikhlas Rahman. He also noted that the 2023 cohort that stuck to the plan throughout the revision and exam period did significantly better than they were predicted to have done. And Rahman saw similar results in 2024. So this Cumberland Community School in the United Kingdom were able to do very well academically by getting students to shut down social media and hand in their phones. How you loving that? Also, from the Good News Network, the Food and Drug Administration announced last week that it will ban the use of red dye number 3, RD3, in food. Food companies have until 2027 to remove it, while drug companies have until 2028. The decision comes after years of advocacy from organizations that point to evidence showing how RD3 has caused cancer in animals. It has been banned in cosmetics since 1990, but remained in thousands of food and beverage products. A 2021 study by California's Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment found that synthetic dyes like RD3 are linked to a greater risk of behavioral difficulties in children, including decreased attention span and memory problems. And another one from the Good News Network. An antifungal agent produced naturally by carrots has been suggested in a new study to substantially aid in the regulation of blood sugar. The authors of the study suggest that carrots may be a useful, low-cost, non-pharmaceutical diabetes treatment. Although the study was only conducted on mice, they stress that further studies are needed. Researchers at the University of Southern Denmark recently found that 2 bioactive compounds in carrots were linked to better composition in the microbiome. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The collection of microorganisms that live inside or live on or inside the body, such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses, those are microbiome. The project coordinator, Morten Kobach Larsen, associate professor at the Department of Clinical Research at SDU, said that consuming carrots shifts gut bacteria toward a healthier balance, benefiting mice with type 2 diabetes in their research. Beneficial gut bacteria help to break down fiber in the gut, which our cells need for various processes. This could include preventing colon cancer, reinforcing the gut lining, and regulating energy metabolism. The study from Southern Denmark University studied the effects of carrots over 16 weeks in 2 groups of mice, one that was diabetic and another that wasn't. One group was fed with a diet containing a supplement of freeze-dried carrot powder, which was found by the study's end to have had a positive effect on blood sugar regulation. And also from the Xavier University newsroom. I know we're just kind of batting 1,000 with Xavier University here, and it's cool because we are on the campus of Xavier University. First, I want to point out happy centennial to the good folks at Xavier, celebrating 100 years this year. But the university will be launching a varsity rowing club for the 2025-2026 academic year. The Xavier University of Louisiana Rowing Club, which launched in September 2023, is doing it in partnership with the New Orleans Rowing Club, and it's the first ever at a historically black college or university. The effort to start the club was spearheaded by New Orleans Rowing Club members Dr. Elizabeth Manley, professor of history and chair of Xavier's history department, and also Chloe Jobin, and the club's head of community outreach and diversity initiatives. Manley and Jobin point out that the club has gotten support from national figures, 2 of which include Olympic rower David Banks and former Division I coach Kevin Harris, who most recently served as the head women's rowing coach at the University of Tulsa. And another Xavier story that I've been following is that the women's basketball team still undefeated at this point. I think all of their games were canceled this past week because of the weather, so they are still undefeated at this point. If memory serves me correctly, I will look that up and make sure that I'm not steering you wrong here. And then also a reminder of a story that I have run by you a couple of times, and I will continue to do this story. That is next week. The River Parishes Community College, they are partnering with Southern University's Law Center's Office of Innovation and Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives to host an expungement event, and that's going to be next Saturday, February 1st, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that's for St. John Parish residents only. It's at the River Parishes Community College Reserve Campus. The expungement initiative is designed to address barriers to employment and create pathways for individuals seeking to rebuild their lives. At the event, residents will have the opportunity to have their criminal records reviewed to determine their eligibility for expungements, and representatives from RPCC's Adult Education and Workforce Training Division will be on hand during the event, along with business and industry partners who are looking to fill positions at their companies and organizations. Participants are required to bring their valid driver's license, a background check from the Louisiana State Police, and then also a certified copy of minutes and a certified bill of information. For more information about this, you can call the Southern University Law Center at 225 278 1332. Again, that is 225 278 1332, or River Parishes Community College at 225 955 5525. That is 225 955 5525. And those numbers and a link to the article are in the Facebook comments. You can use the hashtag the way forward WBOK, and you'll be able to find that information, but I'll make sure that I post this again. And from one of our WBOK listeners, Gary Ballier Jr., the New Orleans United Front will hold its monthly meeting Monday, January 27th at 5 p.m. at Cafe Istanbul at 2372 St. Claude Avenue. The meeting will be attended by public safety and elected officials, including the police chief, the New Orleans fire chief, and FBI special agent in charge as well. So again, the New Orleans United Front will hold its monthly meeting Monday, January 27th, 5 p.m. at Cafe Istanbul. And again, that address, 2372 St. Claude Avenue. Now, if you have anything that you want to share with me and you want me to share it with the audience, then feel free to send me your good news, Eddie@eddiefrancis.com. Again, you can email me, Eddie@eddiefrancis.com. And then I'll even accept the suggestion that you might have for a show topic. But here's the rule. Here's the rule. If you're going to send me a suggestion for a show topic, we have to talk about a problem that impacts the community and how we can look at solutions for that problem, or at least solutions that people can take advantage of for themselves or for the people around them. No, I'm sorry, this is not your opportunity for self-promotion. It's not the opportunity for you to talk about whatever it is you're going to talk about that has nothing to do with solving a problem in the community. But seriously, Eddie@eddiefrancis.com. If you have good news that you want to share, or something you want to point my direction, or again, if you have an idea for a show topic. By the way, we do have the comments open on WBOK on our Facebook page. And so good afternoon, Denise Collins. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, especially about this next conversation coming up with Eric and Malika Beal. Again, they run a company called Better Choices. They are health and wellness coaches. They are master nutritionists as well. And we are going to talk about getting off to this healthy start in 2025. And if you want to jump in on the conversation, please feel free to do so. You can give me a call at 504-582-5422. You know, you wouldn't be calling me, you're calling everybody. So you can give us a call, 582-5422, 582-5422. That is the WBOK listener line. You can also comment on Facebook. You can also comment on YouTube. The YouTube chat is open as well. And you can do that at WBOK 1230. So we are going to jump into a commercial break. We're going to get ready to have a great conversation about getting off to a healthy start in 2025. And again, if you want to jump in on the conversation, 582-9422. You can join us in the Facebook comments. You can also join the YouTube chat. And I can't wait to have this conversation. This is the way forward on WBOK. I'm Eddie Francis, what New Orleans is talking about. afternoon and welcome back to The Way Forward. I'm Eddie Francis. Listen to the Reality Check every Wednesday with Gerard Stevens, 1 to 4 p.m. And then after that, check out the Sports Report 4 to 7 p.m. here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about. And I just keep lying to y'all about the phone number. It's 582-9422. 582-9422. Area code 504. My agent, she just texted me to let me know that I'm giving y'all the wrong number. That would be my wife, by the way. She's the agent. Joining me in the studio, Erica Malika Beal. Every year, it's the same for a lot of us. And, you know, I'm with y'all. I'm going to do better. I'm going to work out. I'm going to walk. I'm going to eat better, etc. And it's okay. I mean, we fall off a little bit. It happens. It happens to the best of us. And it always helps to have a voice in your head to stick to your health goals, to help you stick to your health goals. And to help you do that, the voices in your head today will be Erica Malika Beal. They join us. They are master nutritionists and health and wellness coaches. They run Better Choices. Because of their story, they've been featured on The Oprah Show and in Essence. And they're also featured in a story by their alma mater, University of Alabama. I saw that.
Harbor, roll tide.
Hey,
Roll
so
tide.
first of all, let me just tell you about these two. Hashtag Black Love.
Oh,
These two, they started this business together. First of all, they lost weight together. We'll get to that. They started the business together. And then they go to school together. It is the coolest thing in the world.
Come on now.
Bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. Y'all
Come
knocked
on
it
now.
out.
Come on now.
I mean, y'all were like, cacao.
Teamwork.
Give me that bachelor's. Give me that master's degree. Welcome,
Taking care
man.
of business.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
y'all
me. Thank you.
Joining me. So
Thanks for having me.
let's start with
Yeah.
the success story, because the two of you, for anybody who did not, if you have not heard this story, this is a hell of a story. The two of you weighed almost a combined, and I want to make sure my math is mathing. But I don't remember the number when y'all talked to me, but I went to the website and I'm sitting there
Calculating.
about
Well,
680 pounds
You just
almost.
putting pressure, man.
I
You just putting
gotta
pressure.
tell you, when I read the email, I turned to Eric. I was like, "Who was 600? Who had all of that weight?" You know, it was funny. It was strange reading, you know, that full combined number. But the reality is, we were two very obese individuals. Technically not unhealthy, but we were knocking on the door.
What does that mean? You said technically not unhealthy. What does that mean?
That means that our
blood
blood
work
work
hadn't
was still clear. There wasn't
okay.
indication for hypertension, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Those things weren't present, but we were definitely on the path had we not made the changes that we made.
But the part of the story that really got me is, Eric, you were the one. You were just like, man, I can't anymore. I mean, it seemed like you almost got to a breaking point where you just had to get it done. So what happened?
Long story short, I went to you were just asking about Chris. Long story short, I went to a father and son day with Chris, and came home with strep throat.
Mm-hmm.
Came home with strep throat.
Mm-hmm.
And at 400 pounds, strep throat where you can't swallow, you know, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I lasted a couple of days with that. Went to the emergency clinic, and went to get treatment. Stepped on the scale, and the scale said not today. Wasn't happening. And I mean, we laugh at it now, but it was terrifying.
Yeah.
It was really terrifying because I'm standing on the scale, and the young lady came, you know, she's like, well, this is not worth it. So she goes to the front and gets a couple other people. They come back, I'm like a circus attraction. You know, everybody's hands all over the place. And I just heard somebody say, $398, write it down. And my heart was like, doo, doo, doo.
Wow.
Now, keep in mind, I just lost my mom in February of 05. This was like maybe June of 06, so it was still fresh. And my mom had everything, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. So, you know, I had a lot of stuff going through my head while I was standing on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got home, fast forward to when I got home, it was just on me.
Mm-hmm.
And Lika asked me, she said, what's happening with you? You got some news that the doctor I need to know about? I broke it down to her and told her what happened. Same thing I just told you. And she asked me straight up, well, what you going to do? She said, that's not my problem. I didn't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
That's keeping New Orleans for you, right? For real.
I love you to support you.
But that's not my bag. You know what I'm saying? That's your wagon to push and pull. So
Yeah.
I started making the obvious changes. You know, I'm going to do a little exercise, watch what I eat, that sort of thing. And after about 3-4 days, this one here, I was getting up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, right? And go out in the garage and do my thing. And this one here was like, look here, player, next time you wake up, why don't you go in the bathroom and get dressed? Because that light is kind of, waking me up.
It was a little sweeter than that. It wasn't.
No, it was just like that. So I'm like, after I did that day's routine, I came back in and sat down. We had a conversation. I said, you know what? I really love for us to do this together.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I want us to be together, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And she bought in. A little hesitant at first, but she bought in.
Yeah.
So you two, you lost 100 pounds. Each of you lost 100 pounds within 10
First
months.
10 months,
So,
yeah.
Malika, what did the first steps of the journey look like after you harassed him?
Well, the first steps was like Eric said, we developed a workout plan where we would get up and walk every day. But we really wanted to focus on our nutrition, so we started reading a lot of books and really took a step back, because up until that time, it's really the same mistake that everybody makes as you embark on a diet. And the diet is always short term, and oftentimes it involves some type of dietary restriction. So instead of going down that road, which we knew wasn't going to be something that was going to be sustainable, we kind of just took a step back and examined like athletes and just trying to understand how do they maintain their health, their physical fitness, and do all of these things. And from that, we recognize that the one thing that we all do is eat. So there has to be something there that we need to look a little deeper into. And so when we initially started, we were doing things like buckwheat flour and trying to do wheatgrass, and those things are just not natural being from New Orleans.
Right.
So we knew long term we weren't going to be in a situation where we were going to give up our culture or give up things that we love to eat. So we just, sat back and examined again the things that we were eating. We started tracking, which made a tremendous difference, being more aware about the things that we were consuming on a daily basis. And we just became consistent in those two lifestyle changes, our diet and physical activity. And that's how we lost the 10 pounds 100 pounds in 10 months.
So it's natural whenever people embark on these journeys. I know I can definitely speak for myself that at some point you just get frustrated, and you're just sitting there going, is this even working? I mean, is this even happening? Why is the scale lying to me constantly? So did you ever get to that point, Eric or Malika, did you ever get to that point where you just started to get really frustrated? And if you did, how did you manage it?
Well, this is funny because our frustration was a little bit different. Not ours, mine was a little bit different because we're naturally competitive. And so when we would go out and exercise, so to speak, we're doing the same amount of time, doing different types of exercises, but really exerting a good amount of energy, burning a good amount of calories.
Yeah.
And he would drop like pounds and mine would be like, 3 ounces.
Yeah.
And, he just explained to me that, of course, men and women are different. Men are working with a lot of more natural resistance, but that I just needed to stay the course and just remain consistent. And, time has proven that accurate.
What is those? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good to hear because I've heard a similar frustration voiced about well, why are you showing results, but the results are not showing on my end? So what are you about to say?
I forgot you threw me off.
but when you explain that to Malik about men and women's bodies,
The difference in resistance.
Well, yeah, women naturally have more body fat, and it's going to be a little bit harder for them to lose the weight, even though we're doing the same thing because I'm carrying more natural resistance at 400 pounds, and she was at like 280. I mean, if you had to carry 400 pounds across the street, you would work harder than carrying 280 across the street.
Yeah.
So you're going to burn more energy doing that. So just because I'm bigger than her naturally, even though we're doing the same thing,
He's going to
exerting
exert more energy.
And that's what weight loss is all about: energy in versus energy out.
What about the people who would like to watch the scales? Because I know that there are people, they want to lose weight. Let's say weight loss is a goal for somebody. And they start to lose weight, they start to watch the scales, and you hear some people say, especially health and wellness people, they'll say, well, just don't watch the scales so much. Do you agree with that? Why or why not?
Absolutely.
The scale will drive you crazy. First thing is you have to understand how your body operates. Your body weight fluctuates all day long. All day long, based on what you take in, what you do, is all day long. So we can get on the scale at 8 o'clock, come back at 9 o'clock and get on the scale and have a whole different number. So it will drive you crazy looking at that scale, because the
Every
first
day.
time you get on it and the number goes up, you want to get on it again to see if it's true.
Yeah.
And if it goes up a little bit more, now you're scared. Well, this ain't working.
Yeah.
I might as well go, do whatever.
Yeah.
So stay away from the scale. And the biggest thing we tell our clients is trust the process. Trust yourself. If you're not going to trust anything else in the world, trust yourself to make the right choices day in and day out. Now, if you're not making the right choices day in and day out, you know what the scale going to say.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But if you're making the right choices and you're making the right moves, you're not even worried about the scale.
So, because you can lie to anybody, you just can't lie to yourself.
You
Right.
can't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
You can't lie to that scale.
Yeah, the true measurement is, you'll often hear us talk about optimal blood work, but the true measure is the tape. So making sure that you are, that you measure yourself monthly, and as far as getting on the scale, we recommend once a week, same day, same time, every week, and that information is really just a guide to indicate whether what you're doing is working for you. And there may be things that, you'll need to tweak, but it just gives you that indication that you're on, that you're on the right path, that you're doing a lot of the right changes.
You're listening to The Way Forward. I'm Eddie Francis, and we are talking to Eric and Malika Beal. They are master nutritionists, and they are also health and wellness coaches. If you have a question, the number is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. You can also participate on Facebook. You can come into the comments on WBOK 1230. You can also join us in the YouTube chat if you have any questions. So let's look at different goals. So we talked about weight loss goals. Let's talk about people who have goals of getting their blood work together. So they want to lower the cholesterol. They want to get they want to make sure their blood sugar or their blood pressure is in order. Those are goals a lot of times that we can't see those goals and that sort of thing. So for the people who want to do that sort of thing, and let's just say, it's carnival season. So everybody, and everybody is like, oh,
Well, not everybody.
I gotta go. Well, I gotta go get my cream cheese king cake and that sort of thing. What can they do to make sure that they honor the diet that they need to honor, while at the same time not feeling as if they're giving up everything that they need to give up to get themselves in order?
Before my counterpart jumps in, I want to say
Counterpart, she
this.
says.
Right, because oftentimes we're making a distinction between weight loss and health and wellness,
Right.
as if they're two separate things. And the reality is, if we focus on those processes that facilitate better health, the weight loss will automatically take care of itself. So we want to shift how we're thinking about this process from I'm doing these things to just lose weight, because what happens is when you lose the weight, you let go of the changes, or those changes that you're implementing are highly restrictive or an unrealistic process to sustain. But if we back up and we say, we're looking at our eating habits, we're looking at the things like Mardi Gras, where we get in that conversation about talking about moderations or being able to make those types of changes, it's just important to focus on health and wellness and let the weight loss in itself, that result, take care of itself. Because that's not really the process that we really want to be embarking on.
Yeah, what are you about to say, Eric?
Going back to that cream cheese, nutrition is like a bank account, right? And the foods that we eat, they all have different prices. They all have different costs. So we could have a piece of
the
that
king cake.
cream cheese king cake that you was talking about. A piece, not a third or a fourth of the cake. We can't go back 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. We can have a taste. But see, a lot of times, that taste is not enough. Because that taste, it gets back down the back molars, man. He calls you, say, come get me another.
Well, I'm about to say there's a reason why we keep a knife in the box.
Yeah.
Take the knife out the box.
So at the end of the day, it's about balancing your checking account. I'm talking about nutrition. Balancing your checking account, making sure you're operating within the money that you have to spend. And the thing about it is that as individuals, we all have a different amount to spend. Pretty similar, but it's all different amounts. We all have different bank accounts. So as long as we stay within those parameters where we're not getting those overdrafts,
Yeah,
that cholesterol will be fine.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That blood pressure will be fine. That sugar will be fine. When we start overdrafting that account, you know what comes with that. It's problems.
So that brings us back to tracking, being aware of what it is that you're consuming on a regular basis, because it's eye-opening. And we often dismiss the small things, like that small bite, a king cake here, that...
You know, a lot of times it's not actually about the volume. It's about the ingredients that go into what it is you eat. You know, so
Interesting.
you could have something very small with a ton of sodium in it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You're sitting there saying, oh, man, that was just a
And
little
you're
bit,
equating
you know?
it to the size and not the content.
And you don't understand why your blood pressure is so high. It's because you keep eating these little bitty treats that have this enormous amount of sodium in it, and your sodium's backing up on you.
And that's why it's important to read labels.
There it is.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
track
yeah.
what it is you eat.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
funny. You know, I was in the supermarket one day, and Halima was like, "Okay, are you done?" I was like, "No, I got one more to read." I'm sitting there reading the labels, and it was really interesting to me to. Now I am a dedicated label reader. I will read the daylights out of some labels because I'm sitting there going, well, "Wait a minute! You mean to tell me this has more sodium than that, and this costs more than you know?" So it's really interesting to do that. By the way. Grace Moffitt. She's in
Grace.
yeah,
Shout
she's
out,
on
Grace.
Facebook, and she said, "I will remember moderation Mardi Gras." And she said, "Fantastic information, proud of y'all."
Thank you.
You hear people say everything in moderation. What does moderation even mean?
Well, moderation is different for everybody. And again, it comes back to what Eric was just talking about as far as understanding your parameters, understanding how many calories you should take in a day, understanding what the limits are to your sodium intake, how much fiber you need to have. All of those things play a part in how you moderate those things that, let's say, you want to indulge on. And again, there isn't a bad food, so to speak. What we're dealing with is bad habits, and we become consistent in those bad habits. So, for example, Eric's favorite thing is cheesecake.
Put me on blast.
Because I'm giving an example.
What about your vice?
Say no.
Well, you know,
I'm
my
just
vice
kidding.
is different. But to see him,
Wait, no. What is yours?
mine used to be ice
Ice cream.
cream.
What do you mean used to be?
Well, because my modifications.
So he still has one, but you
Well,
don't. Is that
well,
what you're saying?
no.
Go ahead.
Still, I'm not gonna say he still has the vice, but he still
Yeah.
has the treat, but it's done differently.
But it's what he loves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So the same thing with ice cream. We would kill a half gallon of Bluebell ice cream when they were 2 for $5. So you know how long ago that was. Okay.
I get one.
Kill a thing of ice cream, you know, in a day. And so when we embarked on this process, for me, my personal process of, again, modifying was going from regular ice cream to, you know, sugar-free, but you really don't want the sugar-free. But it got to the point where I wasn't willing to, let's say, spend that amount of money
Yeah.
because of the amount of sugar and the amount of fat that was in regular ice cream. Fast forward to today, you know, we're making our own ice cream, but it's more protein focused, where you're still getting the indulgence of ice cream, but we have found, well, we've created it in a sense where we are getting a bigger bang for our buck as far as the nutritional content is concerned.
I want to jump in on that moderation question real quick. You hit the nail dead on the head when you said you check the labels. Because on the back of the label at the top, it tells you what the serving size is for whatever it is you're looking at. And if you stick within that serving size,
You'll be good.
You're pretty good. You're pretty close. Now, of course, we have this thing called combinations. You know, so you may have a couple of foods that are high in certain categories, like sodium, that you combine together and may give you an overall high number. Well, that way, when that happens, because you're tracking, you know what you need to pull out. But the first step is, like you said, look at the label and see what the serving size is. And then from there,
And
you know
commit
what
to
it is
sticking to the serving
that
size.
package is going to cost you, not only in terms of calories. That's another thing. A lot of people look at just calories. You got to go beyond calories. Go beyond the cover of the book. It's the things
Well,
behind the calories.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you're right.
It's
Now
the thing
that
behind the calories that get you in trouble, like the high sodium, like the cholesterol, the sugar. You know, things that you don't.
I was going to
don't
ask,
consider.
what are some of the main things that people need to look at on labels, especially black folks?
That's the
What,
top
what do we
three.
really
well,
need to
yeah,
look at?
the first thing we want to get past looking at calories, because you really need calories.
Interesting.
For
sodium.
us, the first thing you want to look at is how much sodium is per serving, how much fiber you're getting per serving, and what's the protein content per serving.
So let me throw this out there real quick. When we first started this, we were living in Texas. We came home. This is after Katrina. We came home for a visit, so to speak. And we used to live in the Ninth Ward, across the canal. So we were always at Jeans. And we went to Jeans.
Well, on one of those trips
well,
back from Texas.
We were on our way to Jeans, and we looked it up just to be aware, just to know what we walking into. And talking about sodium. The hot sausage patties were 900 milligrams of sodium a patty.
Wow.
And we were getting 4 on this. We were getting double meat.
And that
goodness.
number has not changed.
We were getting double meat. So when you find out how much sodium is in a dish like that, that one sandwich, now you back up and say, okay, well, wait a minute. How much sodium am I supposed to have in the course of a day? And when you realize that number is 2,300 or less, whoa, man, I'm way out of pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what are the chances you're going to eat something outside of that 4-patty sandwich that's going to contribute more sodium to your diet? That's how we end up with high blood pressure.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Not being aware of what it is that we're eating beyond the calories. You know?
Grace does have a question. Do y'all offer cooking classes, and do you still have copies of your cookbook?
Well, I'm glad she asked that question
We're
because she's
so
right
glad
on.
you asked that
She
question,
is
Grace.
right on time. Instead of putting out another cookbook, because we did put out 2, and those 2 are still available for purchase.
Which I still use, by the way.
Speak to it.
That's one of my main cookbooks, yeah.
We expanded to launching a recipe club, which is available on our website. And what that has allowed us to do is to share our recipes from our cookbooks, but also all of the recipes that we've been sharing online over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And so with these recipes, you know, the nutritional information is solid across all of the nutrients that we monitor, such as fiber, such as sodium. If you follow us, you already know what the food looks like. And the looks are not deceiving as far as taste. But the other arm of the Recipe Club is what we call a self-coaching approach, because we have learning modules that we've attached. And those learning modules include cooking tips and skills, health and wellness information, as well as some other tips and resources such as e-cookbooks. And there's a theme one that a different theme that comes out every quarter. So we're really excited about kicking that off and really providing a community space where people on that same health and wellness journey that's interested or looking for healthier ways to feed themselves or to feed their families, you know, we've developed this spot where people can come in and we can help them do that.
All right. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, so let's talk about the way forward. What is the way forward for folks to set attainable goals for themselves, health and wellness goals, especially the people who tend to be really hard on themselves, you know, like somebody who has that piece of cake and they're like, oh, Lord Jesus, I done fell off the wagon and I had one piece of king cake. My life will never be the same. I mean, what can people do so they can get on that path and just have some grace with themselves?
I'm glad you said that.
The first thing is, and I'm going to steal a line from Brandy B on Channel 6 in the morning. You got to pack your patience.
Huh, bro?
Oh,
You got to pack your patience.
I like it.
Yes.
Because we didn't, at least for me, I didn't get to 400 pounds overnight. It was a process, one bite at a time. And the same way the train goes up the track is the only way the train's going to come down the track.
Yep.
You can take quick fixes and get derailed real quick. But the same way you went up, one bite at a time, is the same way you're supposed to come down, one bite at a time. So understand that. There's 3 C's associated with this whole process, and these 3 C's actually apply to anything you're trying to do in life. Commitment, consistency, and control. Number 1, commit to the process. It is a process. Commit to it. All right? Consistency. What we do today, we do tomorrow. No deviation. No days off. All right? And then the last part is control. Control gives everybody that little speed bump. Control is being able to look in the mirror and tell that person in the mirror no. No, we're not going to do the king cake today. You had it yesterday. We're going to go for a 2-mile walk. That's what we're going to do. That's control. All right? When you give up control, you say, you know what?
Not today.
Not today. Let me get
I don't
another piece
feel
of
like
cake.
it.
I'll do this tomorrow. You know? Got to keep that control.
Yeah, tomorrow never comes.
No.
So
3 C's.
yeah, so the thing I'd like to add is don't discount the small things that you do every day. Becoming consistent in doing those small things, like making sure you hydrate every day, making sure that you're doing a better effort to increase your fiber intake, being more aware of your sodium intake. These are really small things that in the end will make a tremendous difference, not only in making you more aware, but helping you with that third C, which is control. Being in better control of self and how you choose the foods and the beverages that you decide to consume on a regular basis.
So one thing I will say, and I have to say this, is that the Better Choice is Instagram.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because you would never guess by looking at the Instagram sometime that what you're doing is nutrition because like it is straight up food porn. It is some straight up like the Black Eyed Peas. When I saw the other day, I was like, ooh.
Oh,
This
yes.
looks, I like this. These Black Eyed Peas look right. Like, this looks really right.
It is off
And
the chain, man.
it was.
Yeah.
And then the ice cream from the other day as well. So if you want to find out more about Eric and Malika, you can go to betterchoices.co, betterchoices.co, and definitely follow the social media because it is really so funny to me how just taking a look at your social media, it's really good looking food. And what I like about it is that it gives confidence that you really don't have to give up that much.
Absolutely. Food is not the enemy. Like Eric said, it's how we have learned how to prepare the things that we eat on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot that we have to self-correct in that process, but it's important for us to make those minor adjustments. Like, for example, if I could throw this out here, with the seasonings that we use. We're using a lot of different seasonings. We're using salted butter. We're using salt. And we've associated a salt taste with a flavor taste. And flavor is about tasting the foods and tasting the spices and the herbs that you add to that. So it's not a big deviation from, the things that we learned growing up from our parents, grandparents, or with whomever. But we do have to make modifications to the things that we learned.
All right. They are master nutritionists and they are also health and wellness coaches, Eric and Malika Beal. And again, you can find out more about them, betterchoices.co, or put that email address, or I should say that website, in the chat and also in the comments and Facebook, also on YouTube. Y'all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
This
having
was full circle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where we started.
yeah. We're going to be back with the way forward in just a little bit. We're going to learn how to go forward on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about. Join the Good Morning Show every weekday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. and the front porch, 9 to 12 p.m. on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about. Many thanks to Eric and Malika Beal for joining me on the way forward. Again, the Better Choices website, and you can learn more about them. That is in the comments of Facebook and then also in the chats on YouTube. So let's go forward. In the midst of a week that was a buzzkill for anybody who values the human condition, shall we say, some folks are still finding a way to choose joy. I saw this when a frat brother of mine, a guy by the name of Justin Shields, also known as Justin Made That on several social media platforms, he posted the following on Threads the day after the Trump administration signed a slew of rights-threatening executive orders. Justin wrote, "I had a realization today. The only way we're going to survive this is if we focus all of our attention on our joy. Tune out the drama. Let go of the chaos. Anchor into joy." Now, I'm pretty sure that some folks who read that saw Justin's words as urging some fantastical way of escaping the pain of the moment, as if joy is an excuse for people to be silly and detached so that they have the privilege of not suffering with the rest of us. But that's far from what joy is. Joy is happiness. Joy is being able to find something good in what it is that you're doing. Joy, very simply, is sanity. And joy is also health. According to Healthline.com, the benefits of joy include better brain health, better circulatory health. It's good for the nervous system. But even if you aren't experiencing joy, you can find a way to jumpstart joy, according to Healthline.com. You can do it by simply smiling or by exercising. Even those of us who do some of the most serious work find moments of joy. We recently celebrated the birthday of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When I was living in Dallas, Halim and I had the privilege of going to see Andrew Young speak. And Andrew Young spoke about what it was like to be around Martin Luther King Jr. And one of the things that he said that a lot of people don't necessarily focus on, some of us forget about it, and some of us don't even know it, is that Martin Luther King Jr. was actually a jokester. And not only was he a jokester who just gave people around him a hard time, but if you follow the social media accounts of his daughter, Bernice King, you'll see that he also really enjoyed time with his family. Even other people who carried the heavy burden of trying to liberate Black America, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Stokely Carmichael, and others, they found time to smile. They found time to experience joy. Find something healthy that brings you joy. Read fiction or an aspirational or an inspirational article. Take advantage of the sunshine. Take a walk. It's a nice day today. Do that silly exercise that you did in your elementary school gym class. 1, 2, way back, 2, 2, way back. Eat your favorite fruit or vegetable. Journal. Spend time with family. Spend time around those friends who make you laugh really loud and grab your belly. But just find your joy. Joy is not an escape. It's actually an essential part of living. And it keeps us fresh for the next battle that we have to fight, even in the nastiest of wars. And that is going forward. Thank you so much for joining us on The Way Forward today. You can check out this episode again on WBOK's Facebook and YouTube accounts. Also follow WBOK on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to hang out with The Way Forward and WBOK at 12:30 a.m. or streaming live on WBOK1230.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and the Play Old app. Next week, by the way, we're going to be moving to a new time. The Way Forward is moving to 3 o'clock p.m. Central, and The Way Forward is produced by Jared Bro. Thank you very much, sir. Until next week, let's keep moving forward.